See, this thing's not burning too quick. I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was wanting to see.
But
they're heavy, man.
Is it gonna push the BTUs though?
Inside a contained area, I think it would.
Cold weather camping. I got suckered into doing this. I don't do a whole lot of cold weather camping anymore, but I got a friend that wanted to do it, so I'm loading up. I'm heading out. It's -10 Celsius, and gonna do a quick overnighter. Gonna have a lot of fun. Let's go meet up with the culprit behind this idea. And of course, good food with steak on the menu. That's the culprit right over there.
What? Where?
Yeah, you're the one to blame for all this. Doug from Pinetree Line. All right, let's do this. Once I get set up over here, maybe I'll go over my gear a little bit. I don't ever talk about my gear, or very hardly ever, but today this is a kind of a on-the-fly trip, overnighter, and there was no specific plans or anything made up. It was on the fly, so I'm gonna get set up and show you how I'm doing the cold camping overnight with Doug. He's got his own setup on his truck. I'll show that later on. And I'll show you my tent setup and my sleep system. And I also have in the back of the truck a bit of a safety kit that is should be mentioned for any one of you who wants to do this kind of thing. As you can see, it's snow covered, the lakes are frozen. We drove into this location, but can you drive out? And that's what the safety kit that I'm going to show you is all about. Those of you who've been following for a long time, this is no secret. This tent, you've seen me use it countless times. I've been using it for about 3 years now. Excellent tent. And I believe it's rated a 3-season tent, and I'll show you why this is not a 4-season, but we can always make it work. In a little bit, I'll show you why when I bring the camera over. Okay, here's the beauty about these freestanding tents. I wanted my spot to be over there. I didn't like it. Once the snow got trampled down, there's a slope. You pick it up, move it, bring it where you want it. Can't beat that system versus the old school peg it out no matter what. These things here, they're great. That's a semi-freestanding tent. Semi because the fly does require 2 guy outlines. Everything else is not needed unless you're in windy conditions. We should be okay here tonight. Doug, what do you call that tent of yours?
It's a truck tent.
A truck tent? Who's the maker?
Oh, it's Napier.
Napier?
Yeah, very popular. We have a good review on it. Mark will link it in the description of his video, right?
Yeah, you made a couple of reviews on that tent actually.
And it's done well.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'll come in closer for you guys later on once he's got his tent set up. But it's basically like a regular tent you see on the ground, but it's attached to the truck, to the bed of your truck. Napier. As you can see, I got a cot in there, then I got my little foam pad, and I'm gonna add another sleep pad on top of that. I just really want to, the key here today is to get up off the ground. That ground will suck the heat right out of you, and I can't think of a better way to do that than to have some insulating layer on a cot raised up off the ground. Thermarest Pro Light, and it has an R value of 3.4. It's pretty good. I've had this guy for a long time, and I've never done really winter camping with it, but at 3.4 it's pretty good. It's pretty good for a compact unit. I'm working off the tailgate a lot today. Last thing I want to do is put my gear down in the snow. Even though the snow is now wet snow, it feels dry. Doesn't matter, that snow attaches itself to any kind of fabric. Later on, any kind of warmth will melt it in water, and we don't want that. In wintertime, winter conditions, you certainly don't want wet gear. So my sleep system is actually a vintage sleeping bag. And this sleeping bag, which I'll show you a little bit more in detail once I get it set up on my cot, it is 50 years old and more. And this is what's called a 3-star sleeping bag. And these sleeping bags, originally they were designed for the Arctic in the early 1900s. They were designed for Arctic expeditions, and in those days they called it a sleeping robe. And the backstory behind these sleeping bags, the way they're constructed, is they're made out of a thick canvas, very thick. And the 3-star is a designation for 3 pounds of wild goose down feathers. That's what's stuffed inside this bag. In addition, this particular model has a pure wool blanket that is detachable that's inside of this thing. So it is very warm. I personally have slept in this sleeping bag at -28 centigrade. And when I say -28, that is on the thermometer, not wind chill factor. These things are bulletproof, but obviously it's not something you can throw on your back and go hike up a mountain slope with. It weighs a ton. But it really is a solid piece of gear. Once I get it set up on the cot, I'll bring the camera over, I'll do a quick pan, I'll show you what it looks like. So earlier I talked about how this tent is not a 4-season tent, and I just want to mention the reason why. As I walked around it, you can see that it doesn't have any snow skirts, and also it doesn't have extra guy outlines for windy conditions. So this is like a 3-season, maybe 3+. You'd have to really pick when you'd want to do an outdoor cold weather tenting with this thing, which is actually perfect for us here tonight, because we're not calling for any windy conditions. We may get some snow overnight, a little bit of flurries, but no high wind conditions. Good old Northern Ontario with the Northern Ontario bro.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting pretty much all set up here. We got the most important part for now is our tents and our sleep system. Doug is flying his drone, so I'll take this opportunity to show you a little bit of the setup he's got. A truck tent. So let me turn this camera around and I'll do a little walk around and show you what this thing is all about. It appears to have very good headroom, and the skirt or the floor of this tent, well, I don't know how you would actually label that. It actually covers the entire bed of the truck. And this is Doug's sleep system. This is Canadian military. I'll get Doug to show us a little bit more about that later. We'll do a comparison with my vintage gear. Alright, so earlier I mentioned I would talk about a little bit of a safety kit for the truck, and this is something that I overlooked for many years, and until I got stuck in the back, way in the back of nowhere. And it's not fun when you're stuck and you gotta walk out and these kinds of things, or you're forced to wait and flag down somebody at the nearest road to come in and pull you out, whatever the case may be. And what I've done, I got my basic setup that I grab and go when I'm hitting the bush and I'm going exploring logging roads. And sometimes I get a little bit too adventurous, and when you start crawling over top of beaver dams and get to that old road that is half grown in, you can get in trouble. And what I have here is just a simple crate, a plastic crate, and I throw a few basic things. And what I have in here, and this is not in everybody's toolbox, but if you can, the chainsaw is such a valuable tool. Everything from cutting a tree out of the way to cutting trees to make cribbing to get you out. A chainsaw is an amazing tool to have. If you can afford to put that in your budget, get a chainsaw and make sure it's in proper working order before you head out. Other things, inexpensive military shovel. This thing folds, turns into a miniature pickaxe. Very valuable tool to have. It doesn't take up a lot of room. An axe, and when I say axe, I would say probably better off to buy a very inexpensive axe, because sometimes you have to beat things, and if you have an axe that is very expensive or is dear to your heart, you might wreck it. So a cheap axe, something that you don't care if it gets fling off a rock or something like that. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And an axe, not too large, right? And inexpensive that way there. If you have to get ugly, you don't care. Traction bars. Four-wheel drive all you want. Sometimes it's just not enough. And traction bars can be a lifesaver. When you're stuck in the clay, wet clay and whatever, or loose gravel that you're sinking into, traction bars are a must. The other piece of gear that I bring, and it's in two parts. One is a come along, and with a come along, a chain. So obviously we know what this is for. You can crank yourself out of a hole, help somebody out of a hole, and the chain in particular, I recommend you go like this here. What you have is a grab hook and a slip hook. The length of the chain, at least 8 feet. The grab hook does exactly what it says. It grabs a link. So you can adjust the length of your chain however you want. The slip hook does exactly what it says, and it slips on the chain. So if you need to choke up on a tree, for example, you can do that. It makes the chain more versatile. And the other thing I would add to this kit, as far as just to get you out of trouble, is a tow strap. I don't have it in the bin here, but a tow strap is very, very valuable. That strap is set up because it's not rigid like a chain. When somebody tows you, or if you're towing somebody, you can give it a bit of a go, and you get elasticity from the strap, and it really helps. Okay, so I'm going to push this back in the truck. It's already getting nightfall. The camera is showing it pretty light, but for us it is getting a little bit dark. So we're going to get some more things happening, and of course you're following along. Glad you can make it here today. Let's go do this. Okay, let's go antagonize Doug a little bit. What? Doug. Let me turn this camera around.
Can you see me now?
I can see you. Pinetree line, everybody.
How you doing?
So Doug, I already did a walk around your tent.
Okay.
And I will give a link for everybody who's interested. It's a pretty cool setup. But now I'm interested in your sleeping bag because I'm familiar with it, but I've never used one. I got my vintage gear, and I want to show everybody what you got.
Yeah, so basically I ordered this from MTL Armory out of Montreal, and it's a bit heavy, but it's 2 sleeping bags into one, tied in, basically. So if you wanted to, in the summertime or maybe in the shoulder seasons,
temperature conditions,
yeah, you can use the inner bag, and then when it gets colder out, you can use the outer bag. Both are down filled. Supposed to get up to -30. There's a hood that comes with it as well. I can grab it up right again. It doesn't come with it, sorry, you have to buy it separately, but
okay.
It is part of the Canadian military sleep system.
So does that attach to the bag directly?
No,
oh, okay.
Under your arm, so it doesn't move around while you sleep.
Yeah, okay.
And then, you know, you can do one of these things. Yeah. So, you know, it's gonna look ridiculous, but who cares, right?
You know what?
Nobody looking in the bush.
Yeah, when you're out in the backcountry, you gotta look out for comfort, and comfort is warmth.
Absolutely, and it comes with a sleeping bag liner, which I would use more in the winter, or sorry, more in the summer, so that you know, if you're getting hot and sweaty or whatever, you're not having to wash the bag, because it is down, so it's a little more difficult to wash.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do get that with it, and also you get a Thermarest sleep pad.
Oh wow! So
goes with it.
It is a complete kit.
Yeah.
And that sleeping bag, is that brand new? Like that's issue never used kind of thing, or
it's kind of sorry, my carbon monoxide detector is not liking being stuffed in the bag here.
Okay.
It's near new,
like new condition, because it looks like it's brand new. That's what I was wondering.
Both bags are in great shape. You can order grade A or grade B bags, and the price coordinates. But I think I paid $260 Canadian for the 2 bags, the sleeping bag liner, and the Thermarest
and the
sleep
hood
pad.
as well?
No,
Or
the
no,
hood was,
separate, you said,
hood was
yeah.
like at $20 or
Yeah,
$25. Yeah, I think it's perfect for outdoor winter camping.
Yeah.
I try to kind of cheap out and just use, you know, different means, different sleeping bags, and always end up being too cold.
Well, you know what? I'm always mindful of my budget.
Yep.
Right? I don't like to spend excessive amounts of money. And the military equipment has its uses, 100%.
Absolutely. For myself, winter camping is either I'm snowshoeing in with a sled,
Yep.
so I can bring more stuff.
Yep.
You know, I did a late fall, October camp with this truck tent last year, so
Yeah.
I wanted to do something, although we're in December now. Yeah,
But we're lucky. We got, what, 4 inches of snow on the
Yeah.
ground. We can drive anywhere right now.
Yeah.
So this is prime opportunity to use this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for the little review, Doug.
Hey, no problem.
Let's get a fire happening.
Yeah.
They're all cut up and my onions are all... Now fry that up in some garlic butter. Beef is aged like pretty. The flavor is coming through. Wow, it's good.
That's like the idea of that. Oh yeah, that. All bar. Yeah. Well, it's designed to hold all the... Is that supposed to dissipate? All this will pay off. Yeah, they all fit. That's what's nice about it. Everything fits.
Well, this is it. It's time to turn in. Time to crawl into this thing. Get some shut-eye. See you all in the morning. Well, I'm just waking up. I slipped on my little jacket. It was a good night. It was cold coming in. First coming in. Took a little while till I get warmed up in a sleeping bag, but once I got the heat going, my body heat trapped in the sleeping bag, I was good to go. I just dug out my bottle of water. This is something I do, is to make sure I got water to drink in the morning for coffee. I bring a bottle and slip it into my sleeping bag so it doesn't freeze overnight. But now it snowed. I woke up several times to the sound of snow sliding off the tent. I haven't looked outside yet. I'm going to unzip the zipper and throw the camera out there and see what kind of winter wonderland is waiting for me out there this morning. Let me get this camera repositioned. Doug is up and moving. Let's have a look at Doug here. Okay. Time to get motivated and get coffee going on.
No, all these guys with their fancy French press coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, Nescafe. Never going wrong with this stuff. It's the same cup every time. Guaranteed.
Yeah, but now you get the joy of, you know, experimenting.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, man. Man, that looks delicious. Morning. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Of course, coffee's always good.
Coffee is a must.
Good or bad?
Gotta have the coffee.
Gotta have it. Holy smokes. Not that I like to rush out and do.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out. A little quick overnighter with Doug. A little bit of gear review, a little bit of food. Just a little something for you guys to enjoy. And it's time to head out. I still got my coffee to finish up and hit the road to head back home. See you guys on the next one. Take care out there.